Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Your beautiful narrator here today with Seaplane.
Everybody, I am simply a moderator on the server and current leader of the Carpathian Federation and Humanity. They run a few things behind the scenes and in the process of writing independent stories set in the larger universe.
So, Mr. Seaplane, I thought I'd ask you today, what is your plan for humanity on the server in terms of lore?
Especially, and I think we've covered this before. Humanity, if you look at a lot of science fiction, you will see that they are commonly, even if it does take place from another alien species, they are probably one of the main running points of a certain series. So the plan is to, especially why I wanted to start running Humanity, is to put them in a larger spot in the universe, as I feel like they're driving forwards.
I see. In terms of importance to, mainline stories like the Encrystaled series, which is most likely going to be comprised also of humans, what would you say the strongest point people should be watching for during such role plays or podcast series for humanity?
My hope, personally, for the direction, your mic is echoing.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Let me mute real quick.
My hope going forward for Humanity, especially with the Crystallized series as a whole, is I'm would like to happen is a lot more probably personal stories and more of humanity's interaction outside of their own species and outside of their own outside of the solar system. So I would probably look towards um, interaction and seeing how humans, especially with their current technological rise, but they're still behind other races, seeing how that um, comes into play with other species in the entire whole fiasco.
All right. What factions, in your own opinion, would work best with humanity?
I am a few species I have been looking at. Interestingly, as I have plans for the CF and humanity to begin to work together. I am one of the biggest things I'm currently planning for is I'm forgetting how to pronounce this now. Is planned interactions with the AP and communist forces of Taiwan, I believe.
In terms, technological advancements for humanity, where do you expect to see them within the next 25 years of role play?
My plan is to slowly advance largely through reverse engineering and and their own technological innovation. So the plan is for them to, as they expand out further to the universe, be forced by necessity to increase exponentially their technological power to be able to combat threats currently set out in the universe that no other species up until this point has been able to touch. And that's where the overall direction I want to go with humanity.
Granted, there are numerous human factions. Which faction, in your own opinion, is going to be the most catastrophic towards Earth's success?
Um, this for me is an interesting question because I know that humanity, since at least I joined, and since of what I gathered, is humanity is a very currently scattered race. It is spreading throughout the galaxy, but there's no, aside from Earth, no big clusters of humans. So I would say probably the UNSF will end up having the biggest effect on humanity just because it is on Earth and it is Earth's primary hub of spacebound civilized spacebound civilization and whatnot, where other groups of humans tend to be more scattered about the galaxy with no real impact more than just, let's say, space pirates.
Expanding upon the question, do you think humans would be able to adapt to a universe such as the Paya?
My I don't know because that's especially as you say if you say Paya in general, those two kind of baselines as for technology and I would say spiritually kind of along those lines are going to be hard for humans to integrate to. But humans, and again, to prove this time and time against history in almost every sci-fi franchise before us, that humans are clearly adaptable to their circumstances, which I plan to use. Now, obviously, that's not to say humans will be perfectly adaptable. I do plan on there being conflict and issues between them and other races, which is just fine. But otherwise, humans do a fairly good job of including themselves in their environment.
You did mention something that you would like to see humanity and the AP get together. Am I correct about this statement?
Um, you are that would be you're close, but no cigar. What the issue is, I feel like humanity would come, if anything, into conflict with the that belief just how the universe is, how each separate civilization is set up, that there would be reverse polarity between the two. I doubt that cooperation, unless big changes were made between both civilizations, that conflict will almost always arise in interaction between two species.
Case in point, I do believe I don't think I shared this with you. The conflict between Alaska and humanity. I'll let you interpret this as your own. They see us as basically a workforce rather than a military force. Interpret it as you will.
The This is hard for me because I don't pay as far as species to species conflicts go, like with fractions being with factions being set aside. That is especially something I do not tend to cover. But seeing as a working species rather than a militaristic species, I think would be contrary to probably human belief. As again, if you look at today's world, you would treat, especially in classic times, how that humanity would treat any new threat as exactly as it sounds, a threat. As far as general human and Alistair relations go, I, again, have not been paying too much attention to that, but I do feel like um, it could be a starting point of conflict between humanity and other races that have Alistu, especially because of their ruling, the species' tendency to be a ruling class. I feel like that would point to um, effectively conflict in the future between them and other factions.
All right. Next question. Oh God, what was I gonna ask? Right. What territories can we see from humanity from their own solar system before they expand to other solar systems?
Um, just because humanity is quite new, the current plan is for humanity to establish a strong control over their own solar system before moving outwards.
Now, with reverse engineering, that's not going to work all the time with certain technologies. I understand that, but in, let's say, retrospect, could they reverse engineer something like a plasma gun?
Especially because looking at past things, especially if you look at examples such as Star Trek or Stargate, this is definitely possible. Stuff there will always be, and that is a plan to for humanity to there be things that are even on a base level, even their simplest functions would be beyond human brain, beyond human processing. So the plan is they will not be able to reverse engineer everything. There are some stuff that is beyond even basic human comprehension. But the plan is to them to be able to reverse engineer quite a bit of the technology. But the plan is to, for now, and for probably a little bit after this, retain the majority of kinetic weaponry, with only a few select forces having either human original technology or reverse engineered, modified, stolen technology from other races.
Alright. So they couldn't reverse engineer something like one of the Paya's sideshow rifles, which most species can't, anyways, because that is designed to be for advanced species. Now I'm
Yeah.
into aspects like a lither gun, which is more simplistic and more abundant in its concepts. Do you think humanity could learn how to reverse engineer that?
Probably, I think one of the biggest things with humanity for reverse engineering technology would be an abundance of human capable concepts and the abundance of the technology as a whole, being able to see it used in, for instance, both a gun and an engine, or X and X basically, would be the biggest factor in humanity being able to reverse engineer and then use that point of technology going forward.
All right. What kind of worlds can we expect from humanity? Colony worlds, resource worlds.
Again, more going back to in classical humanity, we will see very fast, and as an unfortunate consequence of that, probably not that well thought out expansion. We will see a lot of immediate resource stripping and colonizing already well basically set up planets, with the rest being colonized, with the rest being sorry, with the rest being stripped for mainly resources, which is will probably end up being the main source of conflict between them and other races.
All right. In terms of armor, what kind of metals are we looking at for human advancements in armor?
Armor, I think, especially the processing of raw materials from of alien raw materials to humanity as they filter out to the universe, will probably be humanity's biggest technological leap forward in the coming years. So I can see, should reverse engineering be used correctly, I see armor and the mining of alien metal resources, and then fabricating that into resources that would be weapons and armor that would be that could stand up to alien technology, being right one of their biggest advantages going forward.
I want to apologize for the background noise. So, my next question is what kind of leadership can we expect and sort of government we can expect from humanity?
This one is probably one of the most easy questions to answer. Classical, basically normal human leading, there will probably end up having to be and necessitated differential types of leading, more similar to other alien races. But I mean, for the most part, especially early on in humanity's path outwards, we will see classical human leading with obvious human error and conflicts within the UNSF as a whole. UNSF.
All right. In terms of human factions like Area 46, the Federation of United Galactic Territories, United Nations Space Force, and humanity as a whole, could we see them possibly unite together in the future?
The big issue, and my personal issue with this is Area 46, the UNSF, and a lot of other factions, is they become very much born out of different circumstances. So, but I mean, there will probably, depending on how it depends on AP and other forces, very much so. But ultimately, if the time does come, there will be a point where humanity will end up just sucking up their differences and addressing that a larger threat needs to be dealt with, as that's the basis and almost the entirety of why the UNSF was founded.
Going back to AP, for those listening and confused what it means, it stands for Atroza Primdu, which is a galactic occult faction comprised of numerous alien races under a form of government known as Atrozism, which basically means imperial religion that unites all boundaries. There is no difference in social class. In regards to basically humanity, the Atroza views us as nothing more than a workforce. Now, I'm sure Seaplane can basically debunk that. However, that is some conflict. In regards to AP, how much of a threat would you say they are to humanity should we get off on the wrong foot with them?
Easily, I think they are, just because humanity has a tendency to be stubborn and unwilling to change, especially for outside forces. They will probably end up being one of the most likely of what we're getting to conflict in, and what we will probably, humanity will spend the most time and resources in conflict with. If the humanity and AP were to in theory get into a conflict, that the war following could be devastating.
All right. In terms of the Davion Empire from the New Eye, how much of a threat would you say they are to humanity, considering their hatred for other species off-world?
I would say the the race melting pot, and almost how it's set up makes the AP a better faction than the I forgot. How do you pronounce it once more?
Davion Empire.
Would make the AP a better faction to work with than the DV Empire. I feel like their group stubbornness, as well as combined with humanities, would make inter interfaction communication and diplomatic almost impossible should they start on the wrong foot. So I would objectively, for humanity, put them as more of a threat, as they would be less open to diplomacy than the AP would.
All right. Lord. In regards to some events that have been happening in the lore, such as Virus 46, aka known as the body host parasite, how would humanity deal with that in like 5 short years?
For sure, Jewish humanity would, and plus we've had, of course, I can't say anything else for alien races, but humanity has had plenty of issues dealing with pandemics before. I'm not going to mention anything in particular, but it would be treated as probably a zombie, more or less a zombie apocalypse on Earth. I feel like humanity has had more than enough time and paranoia to prepare for something like that. I feel like they would have a better chance of dealing with something like that immediately off the bat than most other alien races would.
With some exceptions of like AP, but granted, they are a more advanced society.
Right.
This actually is a good question. In terms of like our neighbors, the Martians and the Greys, how would you think humanity would get along with them?
I think largely because of situational, um, the situation they were both put in and humanity's initial attempt to contact alien races. I feel like they would have to, almost by force, if not initially, be put in good graces with each other and have to work together.
All right. I think that's all the questions I have. If you want to basically go on and explore or recap basically everything that humanity is going to be exploring within the roleplay, go ahead. I'll mute my
Yep.
mic and allow you to take it from here.
So, a basic, we'll say, about 5 minute outline, probably shorter than that. Explanation would be my plan for humanity is to, they will, being humanity, very clearly, go out beyond after establishing a home and what they originally intended to do by colonizing the solar system. They would move further out towards a almost gray area between the solar system and any other factions out there. The plan would be for them to run into the AP initially, and that would give them, especially because the varied race of the AP, that would give them initially a good look at what would at what the universe is out there is waiting for them. Then continue expanding until eventually we would run into a conflict with someone else, which chances are, I think, especially between race to race and humanity's summerness in going forward, will probably end up resulting in a war of some sort. So that is current plans, and that will probably up until the end of humanity's war with X race, that will probably last us a good bit of time.
I want to thank you for coming on today's lore discussion. I hope you have a pleasant day, Mr. Seaplane, and hope to see you more in the future.
Thank you for having me.
And remember, everybody, to like, subscribe, ring the notification bell. You're probably wondering why we do this at the end of the video. It's because if you're watching this far, you probably enjoy our content. The Encrystaled series is in the works. Episode 1 will be focusing upon a world of Taparak. We hope you guys are looking out for that, and we'll keep you posted on any notifications. Again, Mr. Seaplane, thank you for coming to the podcast. I hope you have a wonderful and beautiful day.
Thank you for having me. You too.
Goodbye.